Man, I feel like there is so much stuff going on um, every day that I can't just do a singular um, a singular video per week, or like it's there's so many current events, so many things happening all at once that I can't just do one. But I'm glad that I can do these little mini-sodes. So today we're going to talk about uh, the Trump administration's fight against anti-fascism. They're letting us know who they are. So, as I said, um, we're focusing on how the Trump administration is actively targeting anti-fascism. Even though anti-fascism is a an idea, it's not an organization. There's no like board of trustees or anything like that. They don't care. This is setting the precedent that anyone that identifies as anti fascist will be targeted and demonized by this administration. They're letting you know that they are fascist. I just had one of my videos taken down off of YouTube because in the video, it was a black college student, a black woman talking about how if they are supporting fascists, if they are espousing fascist ideas, if they are out there marching with schmazis, then they must be a schmazi. They said that that video was harassment and bullying. I've never had a video taken down off of YouTube. This was a reel that I had posted weeks ago on YouTube, and they took it down because they said calling a duck that's goose stepping and quacking like a duck a schmatzi is harassment and bullying. We're actively seeing them before our eyes support companies are supporting fascism. We're watching it go down right in front of us. It's why I'm telling people that they need to get on platforms like Upscrolled, which is literally Palestinian created. Y'all need to do your best to start moving to platforms. I know that there's not very many. Upscrolled is one of them, but you need to start moving to other platforms. We cannot be TikTok. You need to delete that now. Delete TikTok right now. Instagram, you need to be prepped to get out of there because Instagram is just as bad. I mean, it's just as bad, and we're not going to go into it right now. But what I wanted to talk about today is how the there's a professor at Rutgers University, Professor Bray, who was just targeted by the Trump administration. He teaches about fascism. Well, there's articles calling him an Antifa professor. Like these news articles, these news companies, these media outlets know the power of their words, and they're framing these things in a way that's very inflammatory. Okay, we know that anti-fascism is not a bad thing, but the way that our current political climate is right now, they are framing anti-fascism, Antifa, as a terrorist organization. So when media outlets call people Antifa, organizers or they're doing this on purpose. It's inflammatory, and we know that right wingers, conservatives are acting out in violence. This is on purpose. Okay, but this professor from Rutgers University was targeted by Turning Point USA. Luckily, his administration at Rutgers has been having his back. He's not getting fired or anything like that. He was going to move all his classes online, and he and his family are going to Spain to escape the onslaught of the doxing that he's received, the death threats and things like that from Turning Point USA targeting him. Well, last night, sorry, Wednesday, he was going to be on a flight out to Spain. And when he and his family got to the gate, they had already gone through security, they'd already gone through the checkpoints and everything. They got to the gate, about to get on their plane. They were told that their reservation was canceled out of the blue. And this is, I want to be as very clear as I can. I've been trying to look up information regarding if, because they said that, the airline was confused as well, and they got another flight booked, and they were supposed to be out by the end of the week. It's Friday right now, and we don't know. I haven't been able to find any information on if they actually have been able to get out of the country. I haven't found any other information on if they've been able to fly out yet. So I don't know if the Trump administration has issued some sort of shadow warrant for this professor or anything like that. But everything about this, every new development sets a terrifying precedent. This was a professor who focused his life's work on the study and history of fascism. And they labeled him as a financier of Antifa, sending death threats to him and his family, to the point where he felt the need to run to another country so he could operate his classes in a safe manner. They were saying they were going to come into his classroom at the university and they were going to kill him in front of his students. That's how bad it was getting. Direct threats and showing the methods in which they were going to do it. This administration is actively letting you know that they are fascist. And I've said that I'll say it over and over again. We're there's everybody keeps saying, going back to this point, well, you need to be nonviolent, but they are counting on us to play the respectability politics and take the high road and be nonviolent. That's what they're counting on. That's why they keep doing thing after thing after thing after thing. And it feels like a whirlwind. But a professor being targeted. This is, I mean, we Trump has said over and over again how he loves the uneducated. There's a reason for that. There's a reason he loves the uneducated. There's a reason that he has put one of his WWE cronies or besties as the head of the Department of Education. There's a reason that Turning Point USA and Prager are actively working to infiltrate the education system. This is all about this is all about Christian nationalism. This is all about Christofascism. This is all about making the United States a white centered and white led and white only country. I know that they wouldn't be able to survive without people of color. That's why they want them either imprisoned or subjugated in some form or fashion. They are actively working to anyone who is non-white and non-Christian. They're actively working to either snatch them up or subjugate them in some way. I mean, look. I want you to look at what happened to Vivek Ramaswamy. Okay, he has been a staunch supporter of Donald Trump and a staunch supporter of white supremacy for the longest time. The man is Hindu. He is brown. He has been dogged on by conservatives and Republicans for being a brown person. They've literally told him when he was running for president that I will not vote for you because you're brown. And yet he is still out here doing events for Turning Point USA. And I want you to watch this video of how they dragged his ass because I guess he's running for governor. And he's not a Christian. and he's not white.
How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith? If you are an Indian, a Hindu, coming from a different culture, different religion, what are you conserving? You are bringing change.
Christian voices should be the main voice of America. Why you seem to be masquerading as a Christian?
You call yourself a Hindu, but you also call yourself Christian.
This man, this is what happens when you, what I call shuck and jive for white supremacy. This is what happens when you tap dance for people that despise you. This is literally what happens when you champion ideals against your own autonomy and interests. Vivek is an excellent case study into how proximity to whiteness will not protect you. Just because he's a conservative, okay? He's a conservative, and that has given him a mild, meager amount of time, not protection, time. As soon as face-eating leopards eat everyone else's faces, they come for your face, because you can put on a face-eating leopard pelt and pretend to be a face-eating leopard all you want. They know you're not a face-eating leopard. They've eaten all the other faces. The only faces left are yours, and they're hungry. Always hungry. It's already mainstream. We're watching an authoritarian takeover. Blitzkrieg. What you can do at this point is organize with your local community. Please make sure you're prepping, organizing, making sure that you have communication channels off of social media, making sure that you know a rough game plan of what you have, a go bag ready. Let's put it that way. I'm not trying to scare anyone, but this is scary. This is happening. It's not a matter of when or if. It's a matter of when. This stuff is, unfortunately, we're at the point where we cannot go back. We have to go through it. And that means we're going to have to fight fascism. I do not like this idea that everything has to rely on being peaceful, because we have an oppressor in white supremacy and capitalism and fascism that does not care about respectability politics, that does not care whether there is death or destruction. They don't care. They've made it abundantly clear time and time again. So while I'm not going to actively say anything on this podcast right now, I need you to be prepared. Take self-defense. Learn self-defense in more ways than one. Please prepare go bags. Please prepare you and your family. Please organize with your local community. I want to be very clear. Protesting is incredibly important. But going to a protest where we're letting the local police know where we are, and, it's scheduled for this day and these roads are blocked off. That kind of protest is not being listened to by the oppressor. Scheduled protests, sanctioned protest is not helping. All it is doing is allowing oppressors to ignore us. They know when and where we are. They will ignore us. The whole point of protest is to disrupt, is to cause chaos, is to get them to pay attention. I don't like having people act as if being disruptive is bad for the movement. Okay? Being disruptive is the only way oppressors will listen. No revolution has ever been won through nonviolence. Ever. And I want to be clear, because a lot of these things scare me when I say them. Not because I think they are radical, but because I know that they will further put a target on my back. I am in no way suicidal. I am in no way thinking about ending my life. Okay? So if anything were to happen because of my outspoken nature, okay, I did not do it to myself. And I'm not going to be quiet. Fascism actively desires complicity, whether that is through support or silence. And I refuse to do either. I refuse to do either. And the only way that I can get complicity out of people like that is by making sure they're no longer on this mortal plane. Okay? Please be safe. As safe as you can. But I also need you to understand that your comfort, especially to palm colored people, your comfort, you're going to have to put that to the wayside. Uncomfortable conversations are going to happen. Uncomfortable times are going to happen. This is going to be very dangerous. And I need you to understand that it's necessary for us to fight. It is necessary for us to not bow to the whims of fascism. Activists from around the world are literally telling us that when these things happened in other countries, people who complied just ended up unalived. Unalived or imprisoned. So it's better in the long run to fight back. I'm not going to let them. I'm not going to go out on the ground or on my knees. I'm going to go out running. I'm Fascism can't win. Fascism is weak. Fascism is scared. That's why they're pushing things so quickly and doing this in such an under the table sort of manner. They know that they don't have the power to maintain these systems. That's why they're doing this the way that they're doing it. There is a lot of fear that bullies have because they understand that if the person that they are bullying recognizes that they outnumber, the amount of those bullied outnumbers the bully, that bully won't have a job anymore. I'm going to try and not get myself in any more trouble. Be safe, okay? Go drink some water. Take your meds. Organize. As always, this is Ebony Warrior Studios with blinding speed, master quality, and untold savagery. Have a day, nerds.